There are some significant moments. Well, none of the persons would ever that who was the guys I am roasting. Well, now let's check at the moments. Salam Habibi, how are you? I hope you are fine. It is me, Michaela Santa. I am here with you. According with titles, yes, today we are roasting the feminist celebrities, and now we are reacting on a video of the Aashu Kumar YouTube channels, where video is about the Gen Z feminist. And here we can see, generally here Aashu Kumar says some negative points about our honorable Gen Zs, and here we can notify that our Gen Z is cooked, our Gen Z is well in the wrong ways. That is the statement of the Ashu Kumars. And now let's check at the points. What was the Gen Z movements? And here we could notify the Gen Z feminisms. Hence, that is the points. That is to this template to be toxic feminisms. Okay, now here we can see it is the offshore options. Well, here we can see the response. Gen Z is cooked. It is the title names of the following videos. And here, what is the template? Gen Z contains no brands. Well, it is from YouTube Israel. Now let's check it. Okay. Now here we can see these points. Okay. Now here we could see the Ashok Kumar states here that he is ashamed to be Gen Z because in these videos Ashok Kumar could not trust any Gen Z. That is his statements. Now let's check at the points. Okay. And now here we can see this point. So here I want to mention that what's wrong with these videos. Well, here we could see this the moment. So here we could notify the following Gen Z feminist blames the Hindu mythologies just because in Hindu mythologies Hindu provides milks to the holy waters. Holy waters means Ganga, holy waters. It can be Ganga holy waters. It can be Indian oceans and etc. In these points. But, and that is the problems of the Gen Z feminist. Well, she is not Gen Z. She is Gen Z feminist. Well, actually, here we can see Aashu Kumar did not know. Here, it is the problems about both of the Gen Z feminists and the Aashu Kumars. And we can see the spawns here. I want to correct the Aashu Kumars. Dear brothers, here we can see the spawns. The Gen Z feminist is not a Gen Z. The Gen Z feminist is actually the Generation X version 2 to be born between 1996 to 2012. Now let's check it upon what is the definitions of Generation X version 2. Okay. Now Generation X version 2, we can see the spawns. Well, so always is the generations that is from the period 1996 to 2012, but their mindset is the similar to the generation of 1950 to 1980. Now we can where the mindset of the generation between 1950 to 1980 is support the problems and blame the solution existence of solutions. And now let's check the moments. And here today is NEET 2026, and here we can see the funds. And here I would discuss about the photosynthesis, and I would discuss about here gender chromosomes, and I can discuss about some points that would be here genetics. Yeah. In that points I am here to discuss with you about this. And now what is the functions of Generation X version 2, they who are born in 1996 to 2012? Yeah, now let's discuss the function of Generation X. Well, the function of Generation X is simple in NEET exams. We can see the points. Here we could see these moments. If we want to get more oxygen, we have to condense air large forestations. And now we have to emit, if we have to save the environment, and we have to decrease the velocity of cars, that would be 12 km per hour as the initials from 25 km per hour to protect the environment. That is the functions of Generation X, to protect the environment. Now here we can see the points of what about the, and it is the feminine thing about. And now we can see here several women like Dia Mirza, Soha Ali Khan, Divija Vasim are here only to protect the environment in her own mindset. Here her mindset is that let's contain large forestations, here no to the car with the velocity of 200 km per hour. That is the mindset of women. That is the mindset of women here. No to car with the velocity of more than 200 km per hour. And here we can see the spots. But in these cases, now let's check it. What is the function of Gen Z? And here we can see the spots. The function of Gen Z is is a masculine functions about the protect photosynthesis. And here we can see the plants. We changes no here. Now here we can see the moments. Well, we changes no. See when 6 mole carbon dioxide can react to here 6 mole waters in the presence of here lights, and hence we can generate here 1 mole glucose and here 6 mole oxygen. That is the significant momentums, and here we can see that is our points. Well, in this cases, when we can notify the points, well, now here is the momentums. Now let me take a breath at the 300. What is C? That is 12. What is O2? That is 16. 44. Well, 264 kilograms carbon dioxide can react with 108 kilograms of water. Hence that what is C6? That is 12 multiplied by 6. That is here 72, and S12 is 12, and O6 is 16 multiplied by 6. It is 96. And now here we can notify. Well, long times I forgot the moments. 100, 72 sum by 96 sum by 12. That is here 180 kilograms, and here and we can generate 180 kilograms glucose and 192 kilograms of oxygen by reacting by chemical reactions between 264 kilograms of what? 246 kilograms of carbon dioxide and 108 kilograms of waters. In that case, here we require here 2.808 multiplied by 10 to the power 9 joules. That is your points that we want to know. And in this cases, here is our points. Okay. Now here we can see there is the points to be noticed here. We changes beliefs when the tree can not tolerate the existence of car with the velocity to be 216,000 kilometers per second. That means the following car cannot provide us here 192 kilograms of oxygen by chemical reactions between here 264 kilograms oxygen and 108 kilograms water in the presence of lights. That is the moment that it is the significant points that we have to cut off the trees, and that is the moments. We require oxygen through the photosynthesis. It can be natural photosynthesis, it can be artificial photosynthesis. We just require the oxygen. And here is no matter if tree is necessary or not necessary. That is the moments. Okay. And now, here in these cases, here is the points that is changes mindset. Okay. Now here women mindset is here when the car with the velocity more than 50 km per hour is problematic for one tree, the car should not exist. And now, in this point, here is the moments. And now, let's come into the focus on the points. What about Gen Z feminist? Here, Gen Z feminist is here carrying the mindset of Generation X. When Generation X uh, blaming the existence of solution and praise the existence of problems. That is the point. And now, in Hindu mythology, what is the problems? And in Hindu mythologies, here we can notify the major demons are masculine, and here the major enemy of the major demons are feminine. For example, here in the ancient eras, we could demons is Mahishasurs, and enemy of the demons, major demons is Durga. In Treta Yugs of I have apologized. Yes, in Treta Yuga of the Hindu mythologies, we could notify their savior of Sita is Ravan. I apologize. Savior of Sita is Sri Ram's. Sri Ram's is a man to be a god. Of course, he is appreciated. But here, in Ramayana, Sita is a positive character. On the other hand, Ravan is a demon to be a negative character. That is a problematic in Hindu mythology. Okay. But the following Gen Z, we can notify, the following Gen Z feminists did not criticize the Hindu mythology. And now, that is the significant problematics at the moment. Okay. Now, Hindu mythology is the Sanatani mythology, and Hindu culture is the famous because to appreciate the criticism. And now we can notice that in this moments here, why in Ramayana, positive, most of the positive character were feminine, like Sita, Urmila, Kaikari, Sumitra, and the negative major character was Ravan. What is the reason? In Hindu mythologies, the Gen Z feminists would not question about it. What Gen Z would question? What Gen Z feminist would question when Gen Z feminist is not a Gen Z? Well, Gen Z feminist is just a Generation X version 2. Well, the following Gen Z feminist criticize Hindu mythology, just to cutting the trees in the purpose of yoga, Hindu yoga, and here we can see the spawns providing milk to the holy waters. That is the point of criticism to Hindu mythology, by whom the Gen Z feminist who carries the mindset of the Generation X. And now that is the here significant problematics at the moment. Okay. Now, we Hindus sent would do here our Hindu yogas with their Hindu havas with some fires, and here we can see these moments. And now, here is my problems that why the Gen Z feminists did not provide the solutions that here we can see the points. Well, we have to protect the environment. So let's contrast yoke with the electric wires or the radioactive fats. Well, that is okay. But Gen Z feminists did not provide the solutions. They just are to blame the Hindu mythologies. Okay. And now coming to the NEET answer 2026. And now here we can see the points. Let's come into the points. Well, these Gen Z feminists are the girls, probably girls aspirants of NEET 2026. And now let's check this what happens. Well, now here we can see that is the points of physics. And now let's come into the points about the physics. Well, what is required to what is required of the light source where light source what is required of light source weight where light source is artificial solar arc reactor with a temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. And now here you can reverse the light source. Okay. Now in artificial photosynthesis, here we have two quantities, 2.808 multiplied by 10 to the power 9 joules, two quantities and 192 kilograms of oxygen as a generated in the process of photosynthesis when chemical reaction is between 264 kilograms of carbon dioxide and 108 kilograms of water. Now here we can see this point. What is the moments of oxygen? Now in this cases, now let's check this. Here I contains the calculations, and I know that here we can see this calculation is beautiful. Well, 2.808 multiplied by 10 to the power 9. Well, that can be divided by what? Bracket of 15,408 joule per kilogram per Kelvin, and here we are as a specific heat of artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. Well, multiplied by the following temperature bracket close. And now here we can see what is the requirements. Okay, that is 2.74 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 664 kilograms of artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius, and to be required as a source of light to provide the artificial photosynthesis, and that is the significant moments. And now in these cases, well, here we can see how much waters and carbon dioxide is required where 2.74 multiple, I apologize, where 1 picograms of artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius thus can generate and significant levels of oxygen. And now that is the moments we could notify. And here we can see Let's check at the points. It is the one of the question of, well, biological physics, because it is the significant moments. Here is a topic of photosynthesis, and the source to be artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. And now let's check as the moments. What is the points to be noticed? Okay. Now, what is 1 nanogram? That is 10 to the power 9 grams. That is there 10 to the power 10 to the power negative 9 grams is 1 nanogram. That would be 10 to the power negative 12 picograms. I apologize, 10 to the power negative 12 kilograms. Now let's check it the points. Well, 1 gram is 10 to the power 12 picograms. That means 1 picogram is 10 to the power negative 15 kilograms. Okay. Now let's check it the points. Here is the moments as we could notify. What would be the energies of artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius when the weight measurement is 1 picograms. Now here is the points. That is necessary only in the purpose of what? That is necessary only in the purpose of here photosynthesis. Okay. Now let's take the one 15,408 joule per kilogram per Kelvin multiplied by, well, 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. And now here we can notify that can be divided by what? That can be divided by 10 to the power 15. Okay. Now let's check at the moments here. What is notifications? That is here 1.261728 multiplied by 10 to the power 658 joules. Okay. Now let's check at the moments. Well, now 1.0261728 multiplied by 10 to the power 658 joules divided by watts. Here we can see the sponge. Here bracket of here we could notify that would be here, well, 2.808 multiplied by 10 to the power 9 joules per watts. Well, generations of 192 kilograms of oxygen. Okay. Now let's check at the moments. That would be here. We can notify 3.65. I apologize. It would be 3.66 multiplied by 10 to the power 648 times energies. Well, now here we can see the sponge. Now let's check at the moments. Well, 3.66 multiplied by, I apologize, 3.66 multiplied by 10 to the power, well, 648. That can be here multiplied by what's 192 92 okay. Now 3.66 multiplied by 10 to the power 648. That can be multiplied by 192. Okay. Well, here we can see in the sponge Well, when the energy would be 1.026178 multiplied by 10 to the power 658 joules. So here we can see the sponge. Well, now here it is clear at the moment. Well, when we contest the light source to be artificial solar arc reactor with the 1 picograms artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius, and it is clear that here we could notify here we can generate here 7.0272 multiplied by 10 to the power 650 kilograms of oxygen. And now in this cases for the today's times here 7.0272 multiplied by 10 to the power 650 kilograms oxygen is here necessity for the every humankind. That is here changes calculations. And in this points, in this case is natural sun and the natural photosynthesis is not possible for that. Well, hence here we can notify here women are against artificial photosynthesis where light source of the artificial photosynthesis is 1 picograms artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. Because well, women do not want that to see here we can get here 7.0272 multiplied by 10 to the power 650 kilograms of oxygen in the process of artificial photosynthesis reactions where light source is 1 picograms of artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. Okay. And now let's take at the points. Here is my questions. Well, how much carbon dioxide and how much water is reactions is required to generate here 7.027 multiplied by 10 to the power 650 kilograms of oxygen in the process of here in the process of artificial photosynthesis. Now in these cases let's get the times, and here we could notify that is your beautiful moments. Well, now let's check it. Well, 3.66 okay, bracket of 3.66 multiplied by 10 to the power 648. Okay, that can be multiplied by what? Here that can be multiplied by 264. Well, now let's check this. What is the results? Okay, that is 9.6624 multiplied by 10 to the power 650 kilograms of carbon dioxide. And now let's check it the moments. Well, 3.66 multiplied by 10 to the power 648. That can be multiplied by what? That can be multiplied by 108. Okay. Now what is the results? That will be 3.9528 multiplied by 10 to the power 50 kilograms of water. And here we can see the sponge, that is the moments. Well, 9.6624 multiplied by 10 to the power 650 kilograms of carbon dioxide and 3.928 multiplied by 10 to the power 650 kilograms of water requires your third chemical reactions to generate here 7.0272 multiplied by 10 to the power 650 kilograms of oxygen in the artificial photosynthesis process where light source is 1 picograms of artificial solar arc reactor with a temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. But in that cases here, well, women did not support the following process, artificial photosynthesis process. Hence, here we can see women's environmental protection protest and women's effort to protect the environment is actually here against the scientific photosynthesis process. Yes, but the irony is that in the we can see the Hindu mythology always support here toxic somehow toxic feminism. For example, to eliminate Mahishasuras, to eliminate Mahishasuras, Hindu mythology requires whom? Hindu mythology requires here Durga, the women to be goddess. Well, and here we can see this in Ramayana. Here, women is a positive character like Sita, and the negative character is demons. Where who is the demons in main demons in Ramayana? That was Ravan. Okay. Now, where secondary demons was Tarka. In Mahabharata, well, Mahabharata is a part of the Hindu mythology. Now, what's going on about the Hindu mythologies as Mahabharata? We can see the points of who is the evils as in history of who is the evil in Mahabharata mythology? That is Duryodhan and Dushasans. And who was the victim characters in Mahabharata? That was Draupadi. And now we can see the points. In Mahabharata, we could notify Bhagavan Krishna are saving here whom? Bhagavan Krishna are saving Draupadi from the persecution of Duryodhan. Now, it is the significant points that what's going on. We can notify the clearly toxic feminism in the Mahabharata. That is the moments. But the Gen Z feminists did not criticize that points of the Hindu mythologies. What is the criticism of Hindu mythologies the Gen Z feminists do? That would be, we Hindu provide milk to the holy waters like Ganga rivers or Indian oceans, so just like that. And now that is your dangerous moments at the points. Well, now here I can state that why Gen Z feminist is not actual Gen Z, more than they are the Generation X version 2 to be born between the calendar of 1996 to the calendar of 2012. And now let's take at the points we can see at the moments. And here I have mentioned about the photosynthesis. Well, in the mention of photosynthesis, when we requires here 7.0272 multiplied by 10 to the power 650 kilograms of oxygen. Here we require here 9.6624 multiplied by 10 to the power 650 kilograms of carbon dioxide. But women's in every generation, women's concept is no support to carbon emissions. Well, and here we can see the, and now, when no support to carbon emissions, we cannot get here the carbon dioxide to be, well, 9.6624 multiplied by 10 to the power 65 kilograms of carbon dioxide when we contain, well, 3.9528 multiplied by 10 to the power 650 kilograms of water. Hence, we cannot get here 7.0272 multiplied by 10 to the power 650 kilograms of oxygen. Now, let's check the points. That is the significant points. Here we can see in every generation, women are against humans receiving oxygen. And now, that is the moment. Here is the significant points. Why we hate women and why we hate the toxic feminism. And in these cases, here we can see these points. And now, here is the reasons here when in NEET 2026, here we contest the 180 questions to be 90 biological questions, 45 chemistry questions and 45 physics questions. In that cases, then we can see the points here. Well, NEET girls aspirants attempts here 90 biological wrong answers, 45 physics wrong answers, and let's discuss. They skip 45 chemistry questions. Then what is their? We can say the points. What is their score? Their score is negative 135 out of the positive 720. And now we can see the points. What is the scheduled caste admission cutoff? Okay. Now here you can see. Well, what is scheduled caste admission cutoff? Here, scheduled caste admission highest cutoff is 430 out of 720. Now, negative 135 is positive 565 marks less than the highest cutoff of the scheduled caste admissions, and that is the significant matters of the points. And now we can see this moments. Well, why here is my question. Well, why the Gen Z feminists did not counter the Hindu mythology who support the for women to score negative 135 out of positive 720 in NEET exams. I mean NEET exam 2026, and now that is there the significant moments. It is just like a dangerous points. Okay, and here we can see that is the significant dangerous moments as it is the security concerns we could notify. Okay, and now let's take the moments, and here we come. Now, the following feminist, the following toxic feminist contains and monies to provide an bot comment attacks. Now here we can see the points. Well. Now we could notify. Well, and here, brother Aashu Kumar, what is his points? His point is, well, the following Gen Z feminists criticize Hindu mythology just because of Guru Ram Rahim Insan and Asaram Babu, but they did not criticize here. They did not know about Premanand Maharaj, the holy saint of Hindu mythologies. And now, well, here we can see this point. Here we can see both of the following Gen Z feminists, and here Aashu Kumar's contains the lack of knowledge about Gen Z Hindu mythological knowledge. And now that is your significant moments. That is the dangerous points, as we could notify that how is going on. Okay. Now here we can see these points. Now on the other hand, here we can notify. Let's coming after the second points. When the second points would be, well, Nettie Maria Stephens. Okay. Here we would discuss. In first of the live stream, are going to discuss. I have announced that I am going to discuss about the Nettie Maria Stephens gender chromosomes. And now let's check the moments. Here is the moment about the points. Okay. Now we can notify at the points. Now let's check it. No. Here we can contain somehow like an gender shamings. Now look at the girls. In this girls here we can see she contains jawline like a boy. Well, her face is only all-time clean shaves, and she contains her long beards. Apple guys, she contains the long hairs. It is like a typical feminist moments. Okay. Now let's check out the points about the moments. Okay. And here we can see, well, in 10 seconds earlier, we have mentioned that Hindu mythology always support women like a sexual powers, where sexual powers, well, contains and dirty jokes on man's reproductive products. Okay. Now let's check out the points. Well, now here we can discuss that why Hindu mythology is supportive for the Operation Indian Nettie Maria Stephens. Okay. Now we can see the points. What is the functions of Operation Indian Nettie Maria Stephens? Well, here we can see what is the Indian population? That is 1.5 billion human as an Indian in the population of India. Okay. Now in the populations of India to be 1.5 billion. Here 750 million Indians are men and 750 million Indians are women. And now here is the moments at the points. What is the functions of Indians? We can see here functions of Indian is the symbols. Okay. The functions of Indian as in symbols at the points. Operation Indian Nettie Maria Stephens function is symbol. Here we can see. Well, we requires 8.5 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 joules to change the gender from men to women in gender changing surgeries. And now let's check the moments. Okay, one man's gender change requires yet well 8.5 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 joules. Now here we can see what is the populations of man in India. That is 7.5 multiplied by 10 to the power 8. Now here we can see this point. So let's check out the calculations. How much energy is required to change 7.5 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 Indian men to convert them to be 7.5 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 Indian women. Hence that Indian population would be no man but 1.5 billion women. Now here is the point. That is the simple points that can be concerns at the moments. Well, it is the missions of whom? It is the missions of MBBS students from King's Edward Medical Hospitals from Mumbai, where the following students were several powers. Okay. Now let's check at the moments. First of all, let's check what is 8 sum by 8, that is 8 multiplied by 2, that is 16. Okay, now what is 8.5 multiplied by 7.5, that is here 63.75. Okay. 8.5 multiplied by 7.5 is 63.75. And now let's check at the moments. Here we can see the words going on. And here we go. Here the total energy should be 63.75 multiplied by 10 to the power 16 joules, only in the purpose to change the gender of 7.5 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 men, to convert them to be 7.5 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 Indian women. And here we can, that is the points to be notified, that is the dangerous moments. And now, what is the characters of men? Well, the characters of men is, men are logical, men are rational, man contains the significant emotional intelligence. Well, on the other hand, what about the women? Women contains no emotional intelligence, women contains no logical intelligence, women contains here no rational intelligence. That is, we can see, that is the difference between men versus women. And now, here we will notify when why critical thinking, when the topic about the critical thinking on Hindu mythology, why Genji man is real Genji and the Genji women is Generation X version 2. That is here significant points. Well, now let's take at the moments. Genji man criticize Hindu mythology because Hindu mythology always support Operation Indian Native Maria Stephens, where the purpose of Operation Indian Native Maria Stephens is to change the gender of 7.5 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 men, to convert them into 7.5 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 Indian women. And now Well, I wish for the times. Now let's check it. Well, here, what is the fuel? And well, the fuel would be somehow like a petrol. Okay. And now it is the points. Here we can see the what is the topics. Well, 63.75 multiple by 10 to the power 16. Well, that can be divided by words. Okay, one, one, two, three, four, five, six. Okay, that can be divided by bracket of well 200 multiple by 0.7778 bracket close. Well, here we can see this points. Okay, that is almost 8.2 quadrillion liter of petrols. Okay, now let's check at the points at the moment. Well, what is hundreds? The hundred is here 2 multiplied by 50, where 2 is 2 joule per kilogram per kilogram as a specific heat of petrols, and 50 is 50 degree Celsius as a say highest temperatures. On the other hand, what is here 0.778? That is 0.778 kilogram per liters as a density of petrols. And now let's check in the months. What is the cost of petrols? That is 2 United States dollars per 1 liter petrols. Well, the measurement of petrol volume is 8.2 quadrillion liters of petrol is required to change the gender of 7.5 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 joules. I apologize. 7.5 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 Indian mans to convert them into 7.5 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 women's. Hence that the population would be 1.5 billion Indian women and no Indian men. Now let's check at the points. What is the cost of the petrols? I mean, what is the cost of 8.2 quadrillion liters of petrols? Here 8.2 multiplied by 2 is 16.4. That is means here 16.4 quadrillion United States dollars would be spent on 8.2 quadrillion liters of petrol to change the gender of 7.5 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 man to convert them into 7.5 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 Indian women. Hence that Indians population would be 1.5 billion Indian women and no Indian men. That is the purpose of Operation Indian Native Maria Stevens. Now, who is Native Maria Stevens? Well, the Native Maria Stevens is the woman to be researcher on the gender chromosomes. I mean, Native Maria Stevens is women to be scientists who research on gender chromosomes. And now let's check it. It is the points of to be concerned on Operations Indian Native Maria Stevens. And now here we can see that is the significant points. And here we can see this here is that is the significant moments. Now irony is that when Hindu mythology supports sexual powers to be member of Operation Indian Native Maria Stevens to change the gender of 7.5 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 man to convert into 7.5 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 Indian women. Well, and here and in this point, Hindu mythology supports sexual powers, and Hindu mythology is not criticized by these points. And why the Gen Z, what is the points to criticize Hindu mythologies by Gen Z feminists? That is, yeah, Hindu men provide milk to siblings, idols, and holy rivers, holy waters like Ganges rivers and or Indian oceans. And now that is here significant threats for the moments. Okay. Now we can see in the next points. Now let's take the moments. That is the significant dangerous points. What is about Hindu mythologies? Hindu mythologies supports native Maya Stevens to generate cytoestrogens and supplements, hence that Lionel Messi can be feminine. Well, yeah. But Gen Z feminists did not criticize the points of Hindu mythologies. And here we are going to mention that why Hindu mythologies. Well, let me take a breath. Here is my mention that why I states here the following Gen Z feminist is not the actual Gen Z. They are just Generation X version 2. Well, now when Gen Z wants to be masculine, Gen Z wants to be a misogynist, and every Gen Zs are proud to be a misogynist. I am a Gen Z woman, hence my today's channel's name is Afghan Jelebi, the misogynist Michaela. Because every Gen Z are proud misogynists. And here we can see the points. When actual points to criticize Hindu mythology is out of syllabus of feminism. And here actual points to criticize any system is the out of syllabus of Generation X. Hence that here Gen Z feminist is not original Gen Z. Original Gen Z is proud misogynist. Okay? Now here we can see the points. See you then. Khudafiz. Love you. And here we can see the points. And here we remember that all of we misogynists are standing with our NEET meritorious aspirants. Okay?